My friends, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So I put it out on Twitter that if we got to 500 likes, I would drop a quick video on what I'm looking for on Tesla. We're at some critical levels here. I've been doing a lot of updates on that. Of course, a lot of my followers on Twitter, which if you haven't done so already, please follow me on Twitter/X, Colin_Gladman. That's always going to be where if I see anything during the day that I'm like, whoa, hey, look at this, or hey, this changes that. That's where I'm going to be posting it because I just want time to make videos. So I said, hey, let's do 500 likes and I'll put out a video. So thank you to everybody who did the likes. I'm always humbled and grateful anytime you feel like my time is worth your time. So I appreciate that. So Tesla printed a low volume inside bar day. We actually just recently had another one of these back over here on Tuesday. This was the day that I said Tesla had its selling climax. Then the very next day printed an inside bar. So how you treat inside bars is quite simple. That's just when the next day is within the entire range of the previous day. That's what an inside bar is. What you want to look for is you want to look for a break above the inside bars range. So for instance, today's high is 359.10. So I don't love the fact that we rejected 360. Remember I said 360, 360, 360. That is the number that we've got to get over. We get over 360, I still think we run pretty hard to about 370 to 375 relatively quickly, maybe even within a day. So what we want to see and how you trade an inside bar is once you start getting above the range right here of the previous day, that is when you take a long trade and you use that previous day's low as your stop. So if you came up here and you rejected and then it rolled over and you started to lose this range, then that is when you would stop out on the trade, because that's the reality of it. Not every trade is going to play out perfectly. However, if we go back here and we look at Tesla's inside bar from Tuesday of last week to Wednesday, if you would have jumped into Tesla once you broke the high of 346.40, well, then the next 2 days you ran all the way up to 362. So it's a great way to take those kind of short-term trades and momentum. So that's overall what I'm going to be looking for. Full disclosure, I am in calls as of right now. If we start losing today's low around that 350 area, 350.02 on the dot was today's low. If we start to lose that 350, I'm going to be concerned, and that is definitely when I'll probably take some of my calls and risk off the board. If we start to lose 345, that is going to be a big no-no, in my opinion. I think that's when, if we start to lose 345, I think at a minimum, we're going to test equal lows, if not make that lower low down into the low 300s. Now, what I'm looking for on lower time frame, we're going to go to the hourly now. So this is what I posted on Twitter. I said Tesla has a very clean head and shoulders right now. That's where you have your left shoulder, your head, and your right shoulder. And this also fits the volume pattern. Typically, you see your highest volume on your left shoulder, then you see your next lowest volume on the head, and then you see your lowest volume on the right before that then rolls over. You usually have like a neckline break, a retest, and then further downside. And it's just a distributive pattern. Remember, any patterns that I ever talk about, it's just the way the stock consolidates. Head and shoulder patterns are definitely a bearish pattern. However, they get invalidated all the time. And also, like I always say, there's nothing more bullish than a failed bearish move. There's actually what we call in my Discord a what the fuck pattern. And it comes from a little meme. Let me explain. It comes from a meme where it shows a head and shoulder, and it's like, this is what you think your technical pattern is going to do, and then this is what it actually does. And we've been seeing a lot of these. When you're in an overall bull market, you will see failed bearish patterns all the time. Stocks look like they want to go down, and then they will just reverse on you. The same thing is true in a bear market. Those of you that remember trading in pretty much all of 2022 and a lot of 2023, a lot of bullish patterns, we go, oh, okay, maybe we're getting a reversal, and then it would just fail the very next day. So as of right now, this is starting to look like that to me. What you don't want to see is once again, here would kind of be your neckline, right around that 350. Tesla moves so fast, guys, that basically anywhere between that 350 to 345, you could still get a sharp reversal up and out of there. So I really think Tesla looks bad if we start to lose that 345. So what we would want to see from here is you want to see that WTF pattern play out and we make a run pretty much up to that 370 to 375 area pretty quickly. I still think that as of right now, the way this is setting up, because if it wanted to lose this, I think you would have lost it today. I really do. And Tesla overall had positive call premiums by about 8 million, which honestly for Tesla, guys, that's not a lot. Like you want a big mover day on Tesla, you want like a 5, 6, 7, 8% day, that's going to be 100 million plus in positive call premium. Tesla was only positive about 8 million. So it's not surprising at all that we had such a low volume inside bar day. So keep an eye on that. If you're not already, I highly recommend using Unusual Whales to do that. For all my team members, I buy the Unusual Whales for all of my team members. So that alone is worth the price of admission getting into the Discord. So overall right now, I still like it. What I would be looking for still on the short term is I would be using my trend base extension. So that's going to be from our last low to our next clear high, down to our next low. And that one extension takes us up to 374.98. So overall, that is going to be where I'm going to be looking for. You have a clear order block sitting right in here, right around that 360 area, which what I like about this is we keep testing that. The more times that liquidity gets tested in there, the more likely you are to finally get that break and that surge. The reality is our lower liquidity and support of like right around that 345 where we have obvious support, that is not getting tested. 350 is holding up very nicely as of right now. So the probability of higher, I still think, is by far and away the most likely. Certainly think you'll get at least to that 618. We have a clear support resistance flip on the hourly right here, back up here around 365. But I really think that momentum, if we get a good, clean, solid break of that 360, or like for instance, if, what it was looking like last night, it looked like we were going to try to gap up above that. A gap above that, that is huge as well. But I still think the most likely from here is this move up and out, up here towards this one extension around that 374. And I still think that we can see that this week. Now, tomorrow is VIXpiration. That's going to be where the volatility index, those options are expiring. So I would expect volatility and volume to pick up a little bit more. I think we are in a nice little window here that we can still see some upside through the rest of this week. So as of right now, low volume across the board on indexes, but indexes have been choppy. That's the reality. You go over here to SPY. The reality is pretty much since the beginning of January, about the middle of January, we've been bouncing between 600 and 610 the entire time. We're just now starting to get that. We got that break today. We got the retest starting to push back up. So I certainly want to put in a nice candle day where we're clearly getting out of this range, pushing up towards that 615 to 620 area. And then I do think that there is some potential weakness towards that end of February, beginning of March that we'll need to watch out for. But as of right now on Tesla, I still think by far and away the most likely thing is that move up here towards that 370, maybe even up to 383. Then maybe we come down here, and if we can kind of start building a base out here, then we get that shot and we start moving up towards 400. If we do fail, though, right here, there's no doubt about it, and this is that kind of rising wedge / bear flag look. Like I said, typically, excuse me, let me fix that trend line there. Got a little crazy on that. So typically when you see, if this is going to flush down, once you get that break it starts to pick up steam. You got a rising wedge on top of head and shoulders. And that's what I kept telling the team. I was like, it's almost so clean and so obvious. It's one of those ones that's just not going to play out. And I really kind of thought maybe we would come down here to 345 and then I was going to add even more calls and we would get that one. But overall, we pretty much held strong. So tomorrow, what you want to see is any pullback towards 350. We want to hold, certainly want to hold 345 at the lowest. If that holds, if bears cannot force us down below that, then I think we start to see that J-hook curl up and out of here and make our way up to that 370, all the way up to 383. I think potentially where it is. But the move, in my opinion, has certainly played out once you hit that 375 range. And that's just, it's one of those, like I always go, this is not an accident that this fib extension also lines up with this major support resistance flip that we are going to be pushing back up into. I'm sorry, let me go to the daily. You can see it just a lot cleaner on the daily. So that would be can we push up and test this previous support resistance flip that held since the beginning of December. So I would be surprised for us just to blast all the way through it. The most bullish thing is definitely a blast all the way through, kind of a comeback a little bit, retest, and then just continuation on up. Overall, this is a move, though, that I think the most likely thing is to come up here. Then we probably get like a 618 retrace at a minimum. Yeah, and that would, so if we blast up there, like if we blast up to around that 375, a 618 retrace brings us right back down here to this 345 support, and then we would be looking for a much bigger move that would take us up and out well back into the 400s. So we just got to take it day at a time, candle by candle, bar by bar. So that's what we're looking for. We want a high above today's high of that 359, and we certainly don't want to start to make new lows. So do what's best for you when it comes to your portfolio with this information. I wish you all the best. I personally still think the more likely scenario is to go long, but it's only in about that kind of 60% range. Like I'm 60%. I still think the move is top side, and about 40% that it could be downside. So I'm going to be watching this inside bar. And if I start to lose today's lows and I take the loss on the calls, it is what it is. That's part of trading. But from just a pure risk to reward standpoint, which is all I care about when it comes to trading, if we enter, imagine that we open flat, okay? And you put your risk maybe like a point or two below today's low, like around 348, and you target that 375 to 373 area, that's a 3.7 to 1 risk to reward ratio. You always want a minimum of at least 2. I like at least 3. This is well worth the risk to reward. You take great risk to reward setups, you're going to win a whole lot more than you lose in trading. So I hope this video was helpful to you. Like and subscribe, share with your buddies, whatever the case may be. Much love, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one, my friends.